Master sent over the MasterCase Pro 6, and we're going to take a look at it in this video, so don't go anywhere. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is actually the experience of taking it out of the box. Now, with most cases, if you've done this before, you know that it's a bit of a hassle. You have to obviously open the box and then either turn the box upside down to try and drop the case out, and then, you know, make sure you don't break it on the way down and all that sort of stuff. Or you could buy one of these cases and use the very nice carry bag where you just hold the box down, lift the bag out, and there you go, you've got your case. It's still a hard sell foam, so it's not the plush soft sell that we all love so much, but it is still quite nice, came in a very good condition and all that sort of stuff, so I'm not too worried about that. This case takes a lot from the MasterCase Pro 5, which is actually, especially in the central area, basically the same case. You've got the same basement with the same window cover, you've got the same modular freeform system so that you can move hard drive cages and the 5¼ inch bays around and all that sort of stuff. So actually the central part of the case is pretty much the same. The main differences come on these exterior panels. So these are the sort of sleek looking panels. These obviously have these sort of magnets in them that allow them to either be flush with the case and have what is relatively limited airflow, or you can pull them away ever so slightly and get a little bit extra airflow for your, you know, gaming sessions or whatever. It's quite a nice idea if you like this sort of you know, black box aesthetic but want that extra airflow when you are gaming or doing anything intensive with your PC. Now the front panel actually comes off at an angle similar to the MasterCase 5T, and this one is so that you can access your 5¼ inch drive bays without actually taking the front panel off. Now both the front, the top and the back panels are all magnetically attached, and that is the only way they are attached, so you can just lift them off. And then for this front panel, you can see the removable dust filter and the two included 140mm fans. The way the moving panels work is fairly simple. It's just a magnet on a spring, and then the magnets sort of connect themselves to the case when you push the panel down. It's fairly simple. It doesn't feel the most robust or quality method, but it does still work quite fine. At the top of the case, you actually have some ventilation as well as a flap at the top that allows you to flip it open to reveal the front I/O. This is two USB 3 ports, headphone and microphone jack, as well as hard drive, activity LED, reset button and power button. The back of the case features a plastic shroud, and the one thing that I do want to mention is, and this is potentially just my case, it may not be every case, but it's something to look out for in other reviews, is that the plastic piece on the back of mine has a large panel gap in the middle. It's almost like the plastic has been bowed out of the way. You can actually see it in this frame, but basically it just seems like a bit of a quality issue. Again, I don't know if this is just my case or if it's a, you know, general problem with these cases, but it is something to be aware of. When you take a look inside the case, the first thing you'll probably notice is the accessories box in the hard drive trays down the bottom. This is quite nice. It does come somewhat compartmentalized with different things in different places, although I would mention that all of the screws do come in a single plastic bag, which isn't as nice as, for example, the way Fantex does it, which has a box, a hard plastic box with each type of screw in its own segment, which is just absolutely beautiful, and I love that, and it's amazing. And I do recommend you check out that review. I'll leave a card up above for you, but anyway, that is still a nice enough accessory box. Starting from the bottom, you have the power supply basement. This is a very nice place to either just put your power supply or store all of the cables that you can't be bothered to cable manage. You also have two hard drive bays down the bottom, which can also be removed if you like, and you also have the front mount for the radiator. If you want to, you can add up to a 3 set of 140mm fans if you remove the 5¼ inch drive bay, which is quite a nice option. You also have a load of grommets to keep the, you know, cable mess hidden away. It's actually a very nice overall feel inside the case. You also have those two SSD mounts down the bottom, and otherwise you have that freeform modular system on the right where you've got the ability to move the hard drive cages around or completely remove them if you don't need that many hard drives, or add more if you need more hard drives. So that is quite a nice feature. Also at the top you do have the 2x120 or 2x140mm water cooling sort of radiator support. This is quite nice. It's basically the same one that comes in the last gen, so the Master 5. It's actually very nice, very easy to use, and does mean that if you remove that, you do have a lot of access when building in the PC. I think they're obviously going for a certain aesthetic here with the ability to go for the sort of all black look, but being able to move these panels out to get better airflow. But I'd like to know what you think. Is this something that you're interested in? Are these, you know, the ability to move the panels, is that something that you would do on a regular basis for when you know, want to game versus when you just want to relax and have a nice quiet experience? Let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I think for me, I personally prefer the MasterCase 5 just on the aesthetic front. The actual internals are almost identical, if not entirely identical. So if you actually want to swap some of the parts, if you happen to have a MasterCase 5 and a MasterCase 6, you actually can do a lot of the sort of panel swaps. The only thing you can't change from this one onto the older one is these panels, the external panels. That's kind of the main difference between the two. And I think at this price point, I'd still personally aim towards the Phanteks Enthoo Evolve ATX. It's still my personal favourite. It's just a bit of a nicer case, a little bit nicer quality. And while both of them were equally easy to build in fact this one had absolutely no trouble with building in, it's still overall just a very nice experience. Speaking of building in, here's a quick time lapse of me building into this case. So I think that brings us nicely to the sort of pros and cons section. For me, this is a very nice case. It's very easy to build in. I had no issues. I think it'd be nice to see that nicer accessories box with segmented areas for the screws as well as for the different parts. But at the same time, it's not too bad. It's not too much of an issue. I like the fact that you can move these panels out for extra airflow, but at the same time, it's not personally my favorite aesthetic. And I think for me, especially the feel of the panels and that panel gap at the back, just doesn't scream massive amounts of quality to me. I think the MasterCase 5 was a little bit just more quality feeling, and also the fact that this doesn't have any way to pick it up with handles like pretty much every other MasterCase has had, including the Cooler Master, what was it, Stormtrooper? I've actually got one behind me. All that sort of stuff was a very nice sort of travel friendly approach, so I kind of missed that, but at the same time this is the sort of aesthetic they're going for, so that's kind of fair enough. In terms of scoring, I think we're going to go for a 4 for 5 for money, I think a 5 for performance, a 4.5 for functionality. I think in terms of style, I think for me I'm going to go with a 4, and TechteamGB score of a 4 as well with a gold award. It's a very nice case. I have no massive qualms with it. I think the overall quality feel of the ability to move the panels could be a little bit nicer, and also that panel gap could be nicer too, but otherwise don't really have too much to say about it other than that. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. As I said, is this sort of the ability to move the panels something you're interested in or not? I'd like to hear from you in the comments down below, and otherwise yeah, I guess that's kind of that really. If you want to pick up one of these cases or just check out what the price is, I'll leave a couple links in the description down below. And of course, if you want to buy this case or anything else, please do use the Amazon or Overclockers UK affiliate links in the description down below. They do genuinely help me out. They support these videos, they support the channel, and keep all of these videos coming. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And of course, the other free things you can do are obviously subscribe, like, and share the video if you thought it was an enjoyable one, if you thought it was interesting, or just contained some valuable information. Feel free to share that video, and otherwise yeah, I guess that's kind of that really. Check out some of the other videos I'll leave over here for you, and of course the subscribe button over this side, and yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all in the next video.